Well, came back to the beach today. Looks like they're grading. They brought some sand in and dumped it down there, and they graded it out. I've been doing this 30 years. This is number 30 on the years I've been doing it. And the last 10, 15 years I've noticed a lot more erosion on the beaches. Maybe some of it's from sea level rise, maybe some of it isn't, but definitely more erosion, especially in that corner. They're going to rebuild it. Like I say, they dump sand right over that seawall. Sometimes there's some good stuff in that sand. We're going to go give it a try. This little spot there looks like a little cut's trying to form. I'm going to try that area. Got a low sound here. I don't know what that is. A piece of tin. Piece of brass. Definitely a low spot here. You can see the little rocks. It's almost a wash right in the dead center of this beach. Looks like a spoon, but there's some good news. Look at that sand color. Look how gray it is. It's a darker gray. That definitely means we're down to a lower layer. But maybe we can get something out of here. Got an old spoon though. It's crunched up. This beach was producing back in 2013. I got over 20 gold rings out of here. But it's quite a bit more sand now. And not much coming out of here today, I'll tell you. I got a zinc. It sounded good. You can see it. Not much. I wasn't even going to hunt this though till I saw it. It's an old zinc. Got something over here. 1223. Like I say, I'm working this little ripple trough in here. And let's see. I can see it. I don't know what it is. Oh, it's an old watch. Yeah, it's got some water in it. It's an oldie. Looks like it's got some gold plating on it, maybe. Maybe it's a gold-filled one. A lot of these old watches from the 30s and 40s, they're gold-filled, but you got to check the bezels. I'll clean that up. Maybe we can figure out what it was back in its day. But well, at least it's a little something. Been dry out here. Been dry. Graded it out along the wall here. Unfortunately, what happens is a lot of that sand ends up down in here. When you get any kind of a storm now, that water will hit that wall and it pulls all that sand right down, and that sand will fill in our wet sand. But we'll also check this. Now, every now and then you can get some targets up in here. Depends on where they're taking the sand from. If it's from another beach, sometimes there's silver on other beaches around here. Looks like I got the back of a phone. Oh, what we got here? Yes, the back of a phone. We'll take that home with us, clean it up. Not much. Not much going on out here. They got the lifeguard towers set up on the southern beach, Pirates Cove, and they're working on this one. Well, the bad news is not a lot of finds. The good news is the sand they imported is lacking trash, which means a hell of a lot less digging. But this is a good beach. I'll tell you a story. Back in the mid-90s, I used to hunt with an older guy, Don. He's passed away. And we were hunting this beach one day, and I got a signal, and it was right down in that area. And I was digging in the sand, and I saw a little glint of gold sticking out. And to make the long story short, it was a little gold box attached to a big gold chain, and that thing, it was an 18 karat beautiful religious box on a religious chain, and worth quite a bit of money. But you know, those finds, they're few and far between these days, but it was fun. Well, looks like we got a dime. Yeah, got a dime. Sometimes on a beach, you see a stick, and this is for demonstration purposes only. You see a stick sticking up out of the sand like this. Could be rocks, could be a bucket. You ever wonder why you see a stick sticking up like this? Well, if you got a metal detector, I'm going to tell you, I'll give you a good tip right now. Kick that stick out and go right over it with your metal detector coil. You won't believe the countless rings, necklaces, coins I've found in those spots. And what it is you get people out here and they'll lose something and they mark the spot. And what they'll do is they'll mark it thinking that they can get a metal detector and come back. Sometimes they won't even come back. They'll realize a metal detector's out of their price range. Or they'll come back, they won't find it. Or they'll hire somebody who doesn't know, who won't find it. I've found countless rings down here on these beaches like that. It's a great tip. If you see something like this, a stick, could be a reed or maybe a few rocks, and it doesn't look right, go over it with your coil. You won't believe what, you'll score a lot of times. You won't believe what you'll find. And I've used it over the years. Don, the older guy who taught me, he showed me and he says, oh yeah, try that out. And sure as hell, he was right. And good little tip though, and use it. You never know. Another good idea in the summertime. You want to rotate beaches. You got about 7 or 8 real good ones in this area. You got Hampton, a lot of the town beaches, some of the southern Maine beaches. I like to rotate them. Don't get out on the same beach and hit it every day. Granted, your chances will go up, but I mix it up. I'll hit different beaches at different times. Sometimes a beach can go hot too, where you're going to get a lot of gold. So it's another good tip though, and I've used it. I've done pretty well. So finder's log too is another good tip. Just like that tide chart. You can kind of track where you're finding a lot of stuff. Maybe you're hitting a beach that other people aren't hitting and you're getting a lot of targets. If you keep a finder's log, you'll kind of can rely on it and get some good stuff out of that. Here in the summertime, you're going to get a lot of shallow targets. And what you want to do is you want to use the CTX. You'll want to use the screen and look where the depth is. And if it's in the top 3-4 inches on that inch meter, right on that depth screen where it gives you your depth readout, dig it. It's a nice little tip because a lot of the good stuff's going to be shallow. Nice looking quarter. All new finds, and they're all shallow. And that's really why you want to, in the CTX, you really want to use that depth gauge. And typically I don't dig. I won't dig deep holes in the summertime because all your targets, they're going to be new. They're going to be right under that sand, maybe an inch or two down. So run your grid lines down and dig shallow. If you're out in the wet sand, well, you can dig a little deeper out there. The stuff's going to sink in. But up here in the dry sand, I'm looking for shallow stuff, to be honest. All the deeper stuff's been had through the winter. It's when we go deep on the stuffer, on a lot of the older stuff. Sometimes on beaches you can get kids that will dig some mighty deep holes. They bury themselves. In fact, 15 years ago there was a kid down on Hampton and he dug a 10-foot hole on the beach and fell in the hole and he almost suffocated. The whole thing caved in on him. But if you're out here hunting and you see one of these, go around that hole. Sometimes you can get some old coins. They get quite deep on some of these. I got a couple of rings out of one maybe 10 years ago. Up on Pirates Cove they had dug out a huge one just like this and got a couple of good rings out of it. So, use it. Use it to your benefit. I think we got a coin spill down in here. Got that dime out of there. Getting getting a lot of multiple targets. That's the thing about these beaches, you got to really recheck your holes because you're going to get a lot of coin spills. I remember a few years back, out of one hole I got almost $5 in quarters. So always recheck your holes, and don't forget to fill them either. One of the guys, Surf Digger, has sent me a message, and he's right. You got to fill the holes because you get a lot of joggers out here, a lot of dog walkers, general beach people, and you don't want to see somebody break an ankle or something. So fill your holes in.